Hi guys. This is D. Igorotech. Today, I will show you how to block a website on an expired FortiGate or expired UTM license. Let's begin. For this demo, we will use this FortiOS version 7.4. Notice that the UTM license has expired. As we all know, if the UTM license expires, then some of the security features will no longer work, like new updates, antivirus, web filtering, etc. This means we cannot block a website using the security profiles. If you enable web filter profiles on the policies, then usually you cannot access any websites. The same goes with FortiGate devices which are already end of support or end of life. However, we have some alternatives to block a website. For this demo, we are going to block Facebook for the entire subnet, means all users internally cannot access Facebook. You can see that I did not enable any security profiles like web filter or antivirus profiles because UTM already expired. We will test to access Facebook.com, which we can. Now, to block a website, go to Addresses. First is we will create FQDN or fully qualified domain name. Click Create New, choose Address. Since we are going to block Facebook, then we will give a name of Facebook for our reference. You can change the icon color if you prefer. I usually change the color for FQDN, it's easier to identify and differentiate from other types of addresses. The interface should be any. For the type, choose FQDN. We have two options from here. We can either use the regular FQDN or we can use the wildcard FQDN. First is we will use the wildcard FQDN, then later on I will show you how to use the regular FQDN. Asterisk is the wildcard, which means anything related or subdomains. Followed but a dot in the domain name or the website, which in our case is facebook.com. We are not going to use this on static route configuration, so leave it disabled. Comments is optional. Click OK to apply the changes. You can see the newly created FQDN address. Name is Facebook. For the details, we use the wildcard. Type is address. Notice the reference is 0. This is because this address is not yet in use to any address group or policies. Now, go to Firewall policy. We can either clone or modify the current policy, or we can create a new policy and then apply the FQDN address we just created. To create a new policy, click on the plus sign. Let's give a name of Block Facebook for our reference. Incoming interface should be the LAN or internal. You can verify by hovering your cursor onto it. If you have multiple LAN or VLAN interface, then make sure to choose the correct one. Outgoing interface is the internet-facing interface or the WAN. For the source, this is where you specify the users or user groups in which you want to restrict on accessing Facebook. You can create an address or address group if you want to restrict multiple users. You can check my other video on how to create subnet, address and address groups. Since our goal for today is to block Facebook access for the entire LAN subnet, then we will choose the LAN address. Now, for the destination, this is where we select the Facebook FQDN we created earlier. Notice the color is different because we changed the icon color as well. For the schedule, this is where you set the date and time duration of restricting Facebook access. You can create a new schedule and set it during working hours only. After working hours, then they are allowed to access Facebook. You can check my other video on how to configure schedule policy. By default, it's set to always, which means anytime. From Sunday to Saturday, all day or anytime. For the services, since Facebook is a website, then we can search and add for HTTP and HTTPS. Alternatively, we can change the HTTP and HTTPS service back to all. This depends on your preference. Lastly, the action, since we are going to block the destination which is Facebook, then we will choose Deny. Comments is optional. Make sure to enable the policy, then click OK to apply the changes. You can see the newly created policy. Name is Block Facebook. This policy means, all the LAN users trying to access Facebook.com will be denied or will be blocked. Now, If we try to access Facebook.com, notice that we can still access the website. This is because the all-to-all policy is on top of the new policy we just created. You have to remember that the role is top comes first. This means the traffic will hit first, the policy on top going down. We need to move the new policy on top of the all-to-all policy. Hover your cursor to the 8 dots logo. Click and hold, then drag it where you want to position the policy. Now, for these policies, the top, which is the new policy, will block LAN from accessing Facebook.com. The second policy will catch all the remaining traffic so all of the other websites, applications and services can be accessed. Let's test to access Facebook again. You can see that it keeps on loading. We can close this tab and then open a new tab for Facebook.com again. This will be the outcome if we block a website through FQDN. The website cannot be accessed. It will keep on loading until you will see the error, "This site can't be reached." It will keep on trying to connect to different Facebook servers. If you still can access Facebook using that method, then block using the regular FQDN as well. Go back to addresses. By the way, notice that we have now one reference. It's because we configured one policy using this address. Now, click on Create Address. Give it a name. Since Facebook is already in use, then we will put different name. You can put any name you prefer. You can change the icon color as well. Interface should be any. The type will be FQDN. For the regular FQDN, we will just input the domain name or the website, which in our case is facebook.com. Leave static route configuration disabled. Comments is optional. Click OK to apply the changes. Notice that there's an exclamation on the newly created FQDN address. This is because we used the regular FQDN and we haven't used the policy, so it did not try to resolve yet. Let's open a new tab for the firewall policy. We can add the newly created FQDN address on the current policy, but this one is not recommended. By the time you have a lot of blocked websites, then this firewall policy would be untidy. What we can do is create an address group, then change this destination using the address group. So every time we block a website, we can simply add it to the address group rather than adding the website here one by one. To create an address group, go back to Addresses. Click Create New. Choose Address Group. We will give a name of block websites for our reference, so all of the websites we want to block, we can simply add it to this group. We can also change the icon color. Type is Group. Click on the plus sign to add members. We will add the Facebook addresses we created earlier. You can add more other websites here you want to block. Comments is optional. Click OK to apply the changes. You can now see the newly created address group and also the members of this group. Let's go back to the firewall policy. We need to reload since we made some changes. We can now edit the policy. Everything will be the same, we will just edit the destination. We will remove these addresses and then change it to the address group we just created. Click OK to apply the changes. The FQDN address has already been changed to the address group. If you want to block more websites, then simply add it to this group. No need to modify this policy anymore. We can now open a new tab and then test access Facebook again. We shouldn't be able to access the website. I hope by now you know how to block a website even though the FortiGate UTM license has expired or even though the device is end of support or end of life. Well, that's all for today's demonstration, and I really hope you liked this video. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and click on the notification bell for more amazing tutorials. Thank you and see you on the next video.